Welcome to Damon Does the 6 questions, where the same 6 questions can tell a unique story. I am your host, Damon, father of 2, husband of 1, and leader of this here Demodcast. And it is now the season premiere, the debut, the first time, the very first episode, the beginning of season 2. I am really excited about this. I had a lot of fun last season, and this season is going to be even better. So, before we get started, please do me a favor and get on Apple Podcast. Go sign in, find Damon Does, leave a review, and leave 5 stars, because that's what helps the show get seen. It's what helps the show grow, and that's how we can keep this conversation going. Without further ado, take it away past me. I am so excited to start season 2. You can hear her giggling back there because I'm trying to make her laugh. She is a self-taught board game developer that started her own board game company because she loves board games as much as I do. She didn't write that, I did. And she is utterly amazing and awesome. And she is also absolutely ridiculous. Give it up for Tanisha, Queen It Shall Be Hall.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, I am uber excited now. I'm 5 times excited. This is going to be amazing. Thank you for having me, Damon.
Thank you for coming on. You came into the radar in a very weird way and perfect timing. So I'm excited. And of course, some the listeners going, well, why are you talking about her? I've never met her before. I don't know who you're talking about. Well, I'm about to tell you. Here's the reason. I am also the co-host of Different World, Same Story, where we go back and rewatch a different world from the show from the 80s. And Miss Hall developed a board game called Hillman the Game. And I am so excited to not only hear about it, to eventually play it once things get lifted and production can get back to normal-ish.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. When I heard about your show, I reached out because, all things a different world are all things awesome in my book. Yes, I did decide to create a board game about one of the best shows I've ever seen. Aside from that, I knew I couldn't just, stay at one show. I wanted to make sure I gave myself room to make others. So I created a board game company called In All Seriesness, like TV series, which is going to highlight and showcase positive Black images in sitcoms, cinema, and original content. So Hillman the Game is just the beginning. I know. How am I going to top myself? We'll figure it out.
Tanisha, if you wouldn't mind working on a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air game.
I have a list of shows that I'm absolutely going to tackle. Classic ones that I grew up on, which, yes, would include Fresh Prince. It would include Living Single. It would also have, I'm looking to go back. I've been watching all types of shows like That's My Mama. If it's sitcoms and we lit in it, I'm going to figure it out. There'll be a game for it.
It might be a series thing where we call you, because we talked about Fresh Prince, we talked about in Living Single, we've talked about in Living Color, we talked about Martin.
Yeah. See, I knew it. Because it's automatic. Like, we know what the icon shows for us are. And back then in the 80s, 90s, TV was popping.
Right.
Like, I'm about to be 40. I'm going to be 40 in October. And it's funny that you mentioned your holiday, because I have a whole month. That's a holiday. It's called Queentober in October. I celebrate all month. Shout out to my late friend Tavis Brunson, who started Octavis. And he's just as a big personality as I am. So we put Octavis and Queentober together. And now Queentober is the one that keeps going along with Octavis. But yeah, it's a whole situation. Like, we were on top of it. That era was about saying things that weren't so pretty and still managing to make you laugh and still managing to teach the lesson. So yeah, I'm gonna have to make a board game for those shows. Yeah.
You said Queentober. I'm gonna sidestep one second.
Queentober is lit, and it's full of glitter because I'm a glitter enthusiast. Yeah, I'm also a full-fledged unicorn. This is gonna be great.
Oh
We're
boy.
cousins now. You do know this, right?
Say again.
We're cousins now.
Yes, we are. As a matter, we are way too much alike because you said Queentober, and I immediately thought, do you know what next month is?
Yeah,
What is it?
September.
No,
No, August. I'm sorry. August.
you're close. It's actually
Oh, I'm
Demogust.
sorry. August. August. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Funny story, true story. Because I'm so extra, for my 16th birthday, since my birthday's in October, I'm originally from Brooklyn. It gets kind of chilly sometimes. You never really know where the weather's going to go when fall hits. So I know I wanted to have a summer party. So I had my 216 in August. So I understand. Take whatever month you want.
Right on.
August is here.
Yeah.
It's all about having a good time. Got to.
Absolutely. All right. Are you ready to answer a few questions for me?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. When did you know you wanted to do what you do now? You do poetry, and you're basically a full range performer. That's the only way I can really describe it. And you went from that to developing a board game. Like, how did they connect, and how did you decide, hey, I'm going to do a board game?
So you are the first person that has asked me how poetry connected to Hillman the game. And thank you for that, because I never really get to tell the story about how it did, because most of the time I tell the story about how I lost my job and I decided I didn't want to work for anyone else, because when I lost it, I felt like I lost everything. I had nothing to pass on. Nothing was mine. I couldn't, name a building after one of my children or anything like that. So I felt the way and decided I wanted to work for myself. So I had that and had something to give to people to uplift them. Poetry came in because while I was performing poetry more regularly, I had access to different venues to showcase other poets and other artists and talents. And I had a monthly show called the Writer's Block Poetry Show. And when things started to get slow for the poetry show, but Hillman the Game was getting ready to come out, I kind of merged the two, and I would have poetry game night. So
nice.
Poetry never really left, but I had access to the poetry community, which also loves to have game nights and, have fun times to talk at the table and just fellowship and commune around each other. I was able to allow that to grow my base, just use what I had, pretty much. And everyone was right on board with me because of how iconic the show is, how iconic the mission of In All Seriousness is, which is to promote us. You don't see a lot of Black characters in board games. And as much as I love board games, I got tired of imagining what would Miss Scarlet look like with an afro. You know what I mean? So I would just stay on it until the poem in my head came out to the board on my table.
Boom, da, boom, boom, boom. Question number 2. What do you wish you had known when you had started out?
Oh my God. It would have to be manufacturing for me. I did not know about the ins and outs of quantities and shipping and rates and all of that. So I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna make a board game. This is gonna be awesome. And then looking at the pieces, and you see pieces costing you $1,000. You're like, what? I wish I'd understood how that works, just how expensive it is to make a game. Everything else came on time, but no, yeah, those financials, man.
Yeah, that's usually
and timelines.
And what?
And timelines.
Timelines.
When it comes to manufacturing, yes.
Can you explain that for me?
I sure can. So when I started looking for manufacturers, I had found, of course, there's companies that you're going to see that do amazing things, and their prices would look very attractive. And I would go look and see, oh, okay, it's coming from overseas, more than likely to be from China. Although I did find my manufacturers are in the United States. But when I first started looking, I saw that they were a lot overseas and the prices look attractive, but those shipping times, it was ridiculous. Like I'm talking about 9 months out on shipping and you've already paid a lot, even though it seems like a deal, that's not cute. I wish I would have known about that before.
Yeah.
But I got it now. It was a lot. Research is very important. Don't skip on research.
Mm-hmm.
That was I learned that pretty early. It's working out, but man, in the beginning, it was very discouraging to see something that you want so close. You know what I'm saying? It's like a click of a button, but because of this hurdle and that hurdle, you can't get it yet.
Boom, da boom, da boom. Question number 3. I heard on your show how you did what is it? One gotta go. Is that it?
One gotta go.
One
yeah,
gotta go, and it was cookouts and Thanksgiving was the meal one that I keep remembering. I couldn't remember any other food. That's the one I remembered. So this actually kind of goes towards that. So,
okay.
What's your go-to order at your favorite hometown restaurant? And it could be either where you're at in South Carolina now or back home in
Brooklyn.
Oh my gosh. My go-to order, I'll go with my hometown. My go-to order from one of the Chinese restaurants that I would always go to, no matter what, was 4 wings and shrimp fried rice. That's it. Don't ask me to venture out. I would just walk there and get my chicken wings and shrimp fried rice and go home. There's nothing else to talk about.
Well, fair enough. South Carolina and New York seem very, very different, having never visited either place. How did you get there? If you want to answer that question.
Oh, sure. So when I was growing up in New York, I would take a few trips over the summer to come to South Carolina because I had family that lives down here too. As I got older and started thinking about where I wanted to live, I started thinking about a family and things like that. And I was expecting. And my ex-husband, at the time we were together, we decided that we didn't want to raise children in Brooklyn. Although, we got all of our life skills. Hey, great town, love you, but don't want to raise kids here. So we started looking at South Carolina, and we were kind of hesitant on it because it's slower paced coming from New York.
Right.
But when we came back from the initial visit to, as adults, to be around family and stuff like that, when we came back, that's when 9/11 happened. And I took that as a sign to leave, a very close sign actually, because at the time, my ex-husband was working at the World Trade Center, and he didn't get the call to go to work that day. So we were like, okay, that's all we needed, and we left. I know.
Wow.
I know, literally.
It's like, you know what?
It's like, who does that? But it seemed like it was a sign because his phone never went dead, and that day it did. He didn't get the call to go to work, and afterwards he said, "Okay, we out."
First thing smoking.
No
pun intended. No pun intended.
Right?
Nah,
right?
My dad used to call it a-hole and elbows. That's because that's all you're gonna see.
That's all.
Boom, 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 boom. Question number 4. What are you curious about?
I'm curious about how cities work. I love building things and watching it work, and I've always been fascinated with infrastructure in cities from playing SimCity. So I'm always very fascinated. I look at land like, how would someone build that? And I can't see a stretch of land without trying to figure out in my head what it would take to make a whole, just a city. What is it? A town, city, township? I'm very curious about that.
How did you get involved in that? Was it from playing Sims, or is it something that you've always kind of done? Or
definitely from playing SimCity, because I was raised as an only child, so I had to play a lot of things by myself. So the SimCity was perfect. I would notice that some people that played the game like to destroy it, and I was always fascinated with how to make it grow bigger and better. So since then, starting with video games, I've been interested. I wanted to be an architect at one time. I guess that's why I build board games.
Okay.
For a better tomorrow.
Boom, 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 da, boom, 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 boom. Question number 5. We're going through this faster than I was expecting. All right. Is there anything I should have asked but didn't?
Yes, there is, as a matter of fact. You should have asked how much glitter is too much glitter.
Question number 5. Tanisha, Queen It Shall Be Hall, also the creator of not only Hillman the Game, but Queen Tober.
Queen Tober, that's right.
How much glitter is too much glitter?
The answer to that question is never too much glitter. Only too little. Bam.
So did your fascination with glitter come as being an only child as well? Like, where did that come from? It just kind of, I can see that it's, it's developed out of your artistic side, but I'm like, where did something like that start?
It actually came from water. I was fascinated with how sunlight would dance off of water when I would go out to the beach when I was younger, going out to Coney Island and Brighton Beach and Manhattan Beach and things like that. I would look at water and it always dances, looks like glitter. And then I actually saw glitter and I was like, what? I don't have to be at the ocean to see this? Oh, amazing. Just how one speckle can make you take notice of something and it makes things shiny. So what's not to love? Although I will say it is a challenge being a glitter enthusiast because you learn about how many people don't like glitter. That's funny. I married one. Can't stand glitter. Married a unicorn. Don't know what he was thinking, but here we are.
At least it wasn't a deal breaker. I mean,
this is true. I thought it was at one point.
Really?
Yeah. I'm kind of petty. I'll use glitter to my advantage.
Oh, no. Does it look like... will you take his clothes and make it look like a strip club exploded?
No, but I have shaken glitter into his pants pocket. Yeah. He didn't like when I tell that story.
That is amazing. I don't like glitter either, but if you did that to me, I'm like, well...
Right. Because what are you going to do?
Except it's like, that's why, when my wife gets me with a good zinger, I'm like, yeah, that's why.
Yeah, right. You got to give it up. You got to give props where props is due.
You give,
that's creative.
That's a slow clap right there. You're just like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And that's beautiful. A slow clap moment, that's amazing. That could draw tears. Slow clap.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That bring down the house. You see a slow clap in a play, boy. That's a
me and you can't be on the phone for too long. I already see this is going to be trouble. All right? I'm here for it. I'm just saying I see it. I want it to be known that I am here to act a donkey anytime you need because we're cousins now. Question 6. Let's go.
All right, this is the last one, man.
Man.
I may have to start a spinoff show. Speaking of spinoffs, right. I need to start a spinoff show called Another 6 Questions, just so I can bring my favorite guests back and ask you another 6.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Ooh, yay, let's do that.
All right, whoever's listening to this, do not write that down. That I'm gonna actually put that to work. But if you have ideas for another 6 questions, hit me up at demondoes@gmail.com. You know what it is. All right, question number 6. If you could create a new holiday other than Queen Tober, what would it commemorate?
Glitter! What?
What was I thinking? I don't even know why I asked that question.
It would be I have a poem, seriously, about glitter. And one of the lines that keeps coming up in the poem is glitter is the blackest thing there is. All right? Because it speckles on its own. It doesn't need a group, but when it has a group, oh my God. All right? It's hard to get out. You act like you don't like it, but you really do because it's fire. All right? Like I said, it's glitter day all day. I'd have a glitter ball, a glitter fest. There'd be glitter foods. My husband is a chef. He's already working on making glitter gravy for me because I asked. He don't want to, but, love.
Did you say glitter gravy?
Yes.
Just for the alliteration alone.
Yes.
That makes me happy. Oh, that makes me happy.
Hey, see what I'm saying? And you don't even rock with glitter like that. Look at that. Changing lives. Let's do stuff. It'd be glitter and board games all over the place.
All just everywhere, just
it was
everywhere,
right.
Just like Toys R Us and strippers just exploded, just Mardi Gras everywhere.
Man, it's Mardi Gras, it's rolling the dice, it's like it's role play. Like, come on, it's awesome.
Oh,
how amazing would that be? And then have a glitter bomb. Listen, I got it all figured out. Everyone wears goggles and a mask because safety first. We don't want to get it up in any orifices. So you cover yourself up. You got your team colors. You know what's rocking. You get these eggs that have glitter in it, and you go to work. That's it.
We got to brand this thing. Glitter Day is good, and it's very it's evocative, but we need something bigger. We need something that says, "Hey, it's Glitter Day," but not call it Glitter Day. We just don't want to hit them in the face with it. We just want to smack them on the backside. You know what I mean? We're gonna have to think. I'm gonna have to think on this, and I'm gonna get back to you.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, we'll have to. Yep, and phone number because we're here now. We're cousins.
We're cousins. Yay! I can't have too many of those.
Yeah, right.
Can't have too much family, man. You can't have too much family.
And you know what's so cool about that statement is that you notice when families actually get together and play games, even if sometimes it gets to a point where like I'm never playing Monopoly with you again, you still have that moment where you're like, man, this is all right.
Right before that moment.
This is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Right before the table flips over. But it's there and you remember it forever.
Yeah.
My kids don't play Monopoly with me right now, but they'll play Hillman. Not because they can win, but because I tell them to. No, I'm joking.
How could they not have fun in a house with a board game creator? My kids are little. We discussed that. Before we got started. My kids are little, but we're now getting into I played Sorry with my oldest last week.
Oh, wow! How was that?
Oh my goodness, she literally one of her pieces hit every slide all the way around. It was it hit it perfectly, and literally I made the comeback. However you do that, and Sorry, and she literally beat me by one card.
Was it the best day of her life?
I will never be able to not play that game again now because she's like, I beat Daddy.
Right.
Like,
oh, yeah. That's what I said. Was it not the best day of her life?
Absolutely.
She's on top of the world.
Oh, are you kidding me? She told my wife over and over. My wife, by the way, who's also ridiculous, told her over. Hey, that's man.
I'm here for it.
Man.
Let's go. Tommy's out in 2020. I'm here for it.
Say what?
Tommy's out in 2020 and ridiculousness. Let's go.
I'm in. Do it.
But yeah, playing with kids is fun. With our family, we do a lot of silly stuff. I mean, I make board games. I like to have fun. We play games. We create games. We make songs up more than anything. Like we'll come up with a freestyle or something, and next thing you know, we're trying to figure out why we didn't record it because we could have been multimillionaires by now. But it's all right.
Are your kids?
The game will do the rest.
I know you're big into music. I know you really like music. Are your kids are any of you guys musicians or anything?
Let's see. All of our children dance. My husband is he's a rap artist. My oldest son, actually, both the boys sing. Wait, all the kids sing. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And my oldest son is starting to produce.
Really?
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
It's art all through the house. My oldest also makes. He started his own custom jewelry making company, and I think I told you, my husband's a personal chef, so we eat well. Yeah, music, art, writing. Yeah, I'm a poet. My son is also an author. Yeah, we stay pretty busy. We have a silly day every now and again. That's when the kids get to scream and not get grounded. Got to do fun stuff, especially in quarantine.
Right.
Yeah, because I feel like we're 10 minutes away from a sitcom every day. I would just be waiting for the last track.
You're like looking over your shoulder, waiting on it.
Yeah.
Like
just simple stuff. Like me and my husband were on a video call and we bumped our heads together. What? Who bumped? And it was a good one too. We were like, what? Did that happen? And there's footage? I can't.
Oh my goodness. I don't have any more questions. Do you have any questions for me? Or any,
I do.
I definitely want to hear
Let's
about Hillman
go.
before we get off here. But do you have any questions
Yes,
for me? Yes.
yes. So with this podcast, you said this is season 2.
Yes, ma'am.
What is something that you wish you knew during season 1?
That I can be myself and be all right. You know,
Yeah.
just being myself and being authentic and being okay with that. That is something I've struggled with most of my life anyway. I've always felt like the odd man out and stuff, and now I'm just like,
Mm,
I can be the odd man out, but that means the spotlight's on me, I guess. So I'm a Leo.
right.
I'm just gonna let it be what it is, and being more organized, to be honest.
Organization, yeah, that takes some skill after a minute and diligence because yeah, it's nice to look at stuff on the floor sometimes and just say I'll get to it tomorrow until tomorrow comes and you're like, okay, I'm a grown up. Let me organize something.
Right.
So I get that. It's funny that you actually mentioned that, knowing that it's okay to be you, because through making this game, when I told people that I wanted to make the game, I got a lot of skepticism about it because it was, from what a few people told me, it was too black. They would give me advice, and I know they're trying to help based on their experiences, but I would get advice like, well, maybe you should do a game on Seinfeld first, or maybe you should go with Friends, or maybe you should go with this. And it would translate to me into, okay, so then am I not good enough? Is this game being as black as it is not good enough? And I had to quickly get up out of that because that was, a trick of the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Full-fledged lie. It absolutely is enough. It absolutely is necessary through everything that has been presented to me and everything that's come out of this. I never got to go to a HBCU until I made the game. So now, I get invites, which is dope. I grew up idolizing Sinbad and Kim and all the other characters from the show, and I got to talk to Sinbad a couple weeks ago, and Charnel Brown, Kimberly Reese, has given me encouraging words in my DM. So it's good to know that you're enough, and really stand on that.
I will hear no bad talk of Sinbad. I will hear none. I have had
None at
nothing but
all.
good experiences. So
Yeah, I also have only the utmost respect for Sinbad, especially now because he's very vocal in both his standpoint on what's going on in the world, and he's also very vocal about positivity. So to have both of that come out at a time where it's necessary, especially for us and people that grew up watching him, and not even people that grew up watching him. My kids can recognize him now. And, like my youngest, she's 10. She knows who that is. She knows that's Walter Oak. She knows that's Sinbad now. To make sure that we recognize those of us that are still around here, still, spreading love, spreading information, spreading joy. I'm really thankful. I'm really grateful. Even this podcast, because now I got a whole new cousin. So what other questions do you have about the game? Because, we'll do this all day.
what's the object of it? Like,
Okay. It's a 2-player game, 2 to 8 players. Actually, 2 to 9, depending on how you run it. But the object of the game is to move from the season finale through rolling the dice and moving spaces to the season premiere is where you start. And you want to get to the season finale at the end with the most money. And each space on the game has a different function. There's $ spaces, that's for salary. There's a rent space. There's an event space that's like similar to Chance of Monopoly. And then there's a trivia space that'll ask you questions about the show.
ooh.
And even if you've never seen the show before, you can play the game because it's multiple choice questions. And I also placed on the trivia cards a season and episode that you can find the answer to the question or where the question came from. Like what poet appears in Dwayne Wayne's dreams? It would be either A, William Shakespeare, B, Edgar Allan Poe, or C, Langston Hughes. Everyone would choose, and it says that's through season 3, episode 13, and it is. And for every turn in the game, there's something for everyone to do. So there's no real dead air. You know how some games it's like, okay, you roll and then you just got to sit there and wait till the other person does something. It's very interactive. I took a couple of steps to just make the game more interesting, whereas there's a couple cards called Plot Twist. And that's where it'll shake things up. You might have to swap characters. You might have to swap all your money. Really? Everyone might have to swap one time. Move to the left or to the right, swapping their money, and just see how it works out. The characters that you can play as are Whitley Gilbert, Kimberly Reese, Freddie Brooks, Jaleesa Vincent, Dwayne Wayne, Ron Johnson, Walter Oakes, and Colonel Bradford Taylor. You can also choose to not be any of the characters and be the bursar, which is the bank, because everything is collegiate themed.
Right.
There are character pawns that you move across the board. The board looks like a map of a college campus. There are spaces on the board that have Denise Huxtable on it, because if there wasn't Denise, there wouldn't be a Hillman. So she does make an appearance, even though she wasn't on for the majority of the show. If you land on her space, everyone has to give you $25 because she's always asking for money. So, little quirky things that would get someone interested in the show. Not only that, the characters of the game have an ID card, so you can see how much money they get for every time they land on the salary. They don't all start the same amount of money, because on the show, they came from different economic backgrounds. Right. So Whitley would start off with more money than Kim would, but on a payday, Kim would get more because she worked more than Whitley did. So I tried to balance that out. There's also a roommate system. You see it on your ID card too. If your roommate from the show, if that character is playing in the game, then your rent is reduced. But if your roommate's not playing, or your character doesn't have a roommate, you have to pay full price. So that's really fun with kids. They get to see how, different ways money works and circulates. That's pretty much it. It starts some good old-fashioned conflict. No one has flipped over a table, as far as I know. Everyone that's played it has pretty much played it full out, and I have had different generations play the game at one time.
Cool.
And that's there on YouTube.
What's your YouTube channel?
In All Seriousness. But if you type in Hillman the Game, videos will come up. You can see gameplay videos and a couple of podcast appearances also.
And now here's another one.
Yeah. And here's another one.
Where can we find you? Where can we follow you? When can we hang out, man? We got to get this. Everybody's got to start wear your mask, because I'm selfish. Start wear your mask so I can get out of here and I can go
right
to South Carolina and play Hillman the Game. Dang it!
Let's go. Let's knock all this off. Let's get it together. No, but you can find Hillman the Game at iasgames.com. That's the website where you can get all the information. You can read about the story, watch some videos, and you can pre-order the game. Since COVID has affected a lot of companies as far as staffing and things of that nature, that is why the game is on hold. The manufacturers have me in queue to get the game out as safely and efficiently as possible. So I will be updating people when it's available, and it will be going out. But you can't pre-order it. And I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Hillman the Game. Also at In All Series Net. And if you just want to hang out, I'm Queen at Shelby.
Write all that down. Find this amazing lady. Check out the game. She's amazing. And you know what? Just because you're so super cool, if you've got one on the top of your head, give me one gotta go.
Okay. One gotta go. Luther Vandross Supreme.
You're so wrong for this. You're so wrong for this.
I'm just saying you asked for it.
Had I not been listening to your podcast to do research for this, we could be here sitting here in silence for a while. I'm going to go with I'm gonna go with Luther's got to go, but it's just barely, and I do it with a heavy heart.
I feel it's important to ask these questions. You want to know who your tribe is, okay? If you're ever in the mix, and you need to know who your Luther and your Prince is. You need to know who would choose who. Gotta know.
I feel like I just made a new best friend. I thank you so much. Thank you so much
You're
for your
welcome.
time. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go.
You're so welcome. It was a pleasure.
Please go out. Go check out Hillman the Game. Check it out on video.
Yes.
Do it, and your life will be better for it.
Absolutely.
Thank you again to Tanisha Hall for having a wonderful and fun combo with me. Thank you for listening, and remember to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, tell an enemy. They might like it too. Tell somebody so we can keep the conversation growing. And until next time, see it, hear it, speak it, live.